This is Dean Jones. Watch my team reveal for Game Week 9 on Chasing Green Arrows. Yeah, so Bernardo actually came in for me just for that game week. I was looking for an option to bring in, and I decided that I needed a Man City asset. I thought they were going to score a lot of goals against Burnley. That didn't really happen, but Bernardo just seemed to me to be someone that was guaranteed to play. And he's usually involved in the goals in some way, even though he's playing a deeper role at the moment. So, yeah, it was a bit of a gamble from me, but I was so happy. You couldn't believe when I saw that he was the guy that had popped up with the first goal. I'd been tempted to take a point hit as well and get Sterling in there because I thought he might react, but I went against it and I just went with Bernardo Silva, and I was very happy with the outcome. I can't believe there's anybody out there that didn't make Salah captain for that last game week. I think that the form that he's in, he's genuinely looking like the best player in the world. It looked like a fixture against Watford that he would guaranteed to score at least one in. Because he's a midfielder, you get those extra points as well, rather than picking a striker as captain. So I think any fixture like that, where Liverpool are up against a team in the lower reaches of the division, you should be picking him, to be honest, because he's just a very good option. And when you've got a premium player who's obviously costing you a lot of money, you want him to get maximum points as often as they can. Look, I've paid the price before. I'm not trusting Salah. I'm not making that that mistake again this season. I was devastated with a score of 5 from Ronaldo, Lukaku, and Antonio. But I've been picked these guys basically for the long term. I was like, if this is my front three across the course of the season, then I should be in good shape come towards the end. I mean, it hasn't actually done as well as I thought it would do, to be honest, because they haven't all seemed to score on the same weekend yet when I'm looking for them to hit big numbers. And I was thinking, look, if these guys all score 2 or 3 in the same weekend, I'm laughing, but it hasn't really happened yet. I've now got a big decision whether I stick with this going forward, obviously with United facing some tricky fixtures. Just the way I play FPL is always that I go for goals and attack. I've never built my teams on a defence. It's just the way that I like to play the game. It's more fun. And it often, to be honest, does bite me on the backside because it's so hard to predict goal scorers, obviously. And if you can pick 5 defenders that are going to shut out, then you're in equally good shape as you would be if you had 3 good goal scoring forwards. But yeah, for last week, obviously I thought Reece James might start the game, and I was let down on that front. And Luke Shaw is giving me a real headache at the moment. He's just not performing. He's dropped off, and that's costing me as well. So yeah, defensively, I have got to start to look at my team going forward, because as you can see, my bench isn't great either. And so there's not a lot of wiggle room, and I really need to start signing some good value like Livramento. I think my team is generally okay, but I am considering swapping out Ronaldo because, United's fixture list, he's not scoring as many goals as I thought he might. And I'm thinking possibly I'll swap him for Timo Werner because of Chelsea's run of games. Also, I'm wondering maybe Harry Kane. He's up and running now for the season. He'll probably go on a half decent run of goals. So I've got to consider what I do because, yeah, I think that Chelsea are the team to have this week, aren't they? I mean, they're up against Norwich. Loads of people are going to be captaining Lukaku. I might captain Lukaku, to be honest, even though he hasn't scored for a little while. And yeah, Timo Werner, I think, is the other option. I think you've got to stack up on Chelsea. They've got Burnley and Newcastle next after this as well. It's an opportunity to eat up a lot of points if you can pick the perfect trio of Chelsea players. So that's where my focus is going to be this week, really. The other change I'm going to consider is Luke Shaw. He's really bothering me. He's been out of form for 4 weeks now. 4 points from those 4 games. It's not a good return on a £5.4 million defender. So yeah, I'm really having to consider whether Luke Shaw stays in my team. I think Jamie Vardy has been hugely overlooked, and I think a lot of people are going to start swapping him now for Ronaldo because of Ronaldo's form, because of United's form and their situation and their run of games. I think we're going to see more owners of Jamie Vardy from this week onwards. People, I think, have been hesitating over doing that just not convinced. He's been a good player traditionally on FPL, and I think people need to get back on the boat. Leicester play against Brentford. And while that won't be easy, there is a high chance Vardy scores and Leicester win. He's only failed to score in 2 of his 8 games so far in the Premier League this season. So if you're considering Jamie Vardy, like I might be actually now, I think we might have to get on board. Yeah, I think normally I would have stuck with Salah for this game week as captain. I don't think it really matters that it's Man United that he's up against. I often don't worry with players like Salah who they're playing against because they turn up with big goals and big games anyway. But because Lukaku is up against Norwich, because he's so desperate for goals, this is the type of game when he could quite easily score a hat-trick. I'll be extremely surprised if Lukaku doesn't score at all. So I think Lukaku's going to be my captain. I'll be surprised if almost everybody out there isn't captaining Lukaku this week if they've got him as well. I'm Dean Jones. That's my team for game week 9. This has been Chasing Green Arrows. Please make sure you like and subscribe.